America Meditating Blog Talk Radio Show. We collect wisdom, hear stories, and inspire each other. I'm Sister Jenna. Tune in live from Monday through Friday at 8 a.m.
Hi, my name is Misty Crutchfield with Gandhi's Bee Magazine, an online magazine designed to raise awareness and inspire people about all of the amazing things happening in the world, as well as all the challenging things that can help us raise awareness so we can make a difference in the world and be the change. One of my inspirations is Sister Jenna and America Meditating Radio. I listen, you should too.
Hello, this is Kristen Hoffman, and it is with great love, joy, pleasure, and spirit that I am listening to America Meditating Radio Show.
Sister Jenna and the American Meditating Radio Show are the key to peace, truth, beauty, and all that is good in the world, which is why I am a confirmed listener. This is Valerie Alexander, author of Happiness as a Second Language.
He went without food, not to lose weight, but to help people lose generations of hate. While many around him rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. When others used religion as an excuse for war, he used it to remind them of love. Mahatma Gandhi made the world a far better place by reaching out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
If I'm to learn to let go,
Hello and welcome to America Meditating Radio. I'm your host, Sister Jenna, and we're broadcasting from the Meditation Museum in Tyson's Corner. That's still in the nation's capital. We were doing our annual report, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, there is no way any nonprofit organization or group of people can pull off organizing 178 events at the museums. Do you know what that takes? And that doesn't include the multitude of lectures, workshops, travel, events, conversations, partnerships, and collaborations outside of the museum. And then I'm sitting here saying, it's time for my retirement. Because I'm just like, wow, I think I've made up for like 20 or 30 years, I think. And last year we had 200, so we've fallen short in terms of that, which it's quite interesting. But my friends out there, I want to say thank you so much for your contributions and your generosity and your good wishes and your pure feelings and your showing up. I think this just speaks in volumes what your donations do for the Meditation Museum and the kind of dedicated individuals that's behind this service to humanity. The proof of the work and the presence of the space, various stories that we receive when individuals call us or tell us when they come back and visit again that this happened to me and I handled it this way. Or I went into work for the first time not feeling that it was a burden, or I was able to forgive my mother for not being present, or I was able to get unstuck from a desire that I know would never be fulfilled. These are the stories that we get back again and again and again that proves that it's working, that the benefit of these 178 internal events, the events that happen solely in the museum, the result of that are the thousands of individuals who state that something has shifted for them, that they have changed. And this radio show also is a part of that journey, and I'm so glad that it's broadcasted from this place, and I can't begin to tell you what that means for me in many ways. I would like to take this time to introduce our special guest, Skylar Liberty Rose. Skylar is a writer and an empowerment warrior. She's the creator of Fierce Females, which she established as a way of celebrating the female spirit and to encourage women to live to their full potential rather than playing small. Having found her own freedom by releasing limited beliefs, Skylar seeks to provide others with tools that they can use to empower their own lives. Chosen as one of the best 50 women's empowerment blogs 2015 by the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, Skylar is passionate about stripping away layers of conditioning and instead discovering the unique truth within. Creativity is her meditation, and she's inspired by courageous hearts and creative souls. She grew up in London, but she lives now in New York City with her wonderful husband. Skylar, we welcome you to the America Meditating Radio. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Sister Jenna. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We're glad that you could make it. There's nothing more challenging than trying to release limited belief systems. Could you share with our incredible listeners, how did Skylar do that for herself? Like, what does it actually mean to be empowered?
For me, I always say that empowerment is living a life that is free from limiting labels. And it's also having the courage to be brave enough to be vulnerable. It's saying no to anything that doesn't serve us. So essentially, it's living a life that feels really, truly authentic to us. And I, up until probably a few years ago, I had pretty much lived my life in accordance with how I was supposed to and how I should live. So I had done all the things that, most of us are told to do. I'd gone and got the office job and, chosen careers that were supposed to kind of, bring me happiness and satisfaction. And I just found that I really wasn't satisfied at all. And I kept getting to the end of every month or every week, and I just had this one thought in my head that was, is this it? And I basically got to a point where I started to realize this isn't working for me. You know, I'm doing all these things that I'm apparently supposed to do, but they're just not bringing me any sense of joy, any sense of pleasure, and I couldn't, convince myself that this is how life was supposed to be. So I stopped doing all the things that I was, told to do, and I started just stripping away all the years, all the layers of conditioning, and I started exploring what truly made sense to me, what really deeply resonated with me, and I began writing, and I began using creativity as a tool to help me, to guide me, and I found that that's when my true self-expression began to come out, and through my writing, I gained a huge sense of freedom, and with that freedom then came empowerment.
I find writing to be so therapeutic, and many people, I really encourage them to keep putting their legacy, or not even their legacy, just their story on paper so they can find clarity. But this conversation, Skylar, that I've been hearing over and over again, we did it the way that we were told to and informed as to the traditional way of existing. But when we start to listen to the inner call and the real sense of the self, the emergence is completely not what we had planned for. Speak to me about, empowering other people. And would you say it's like a physical agenda, or is it just from your own empowerment you become a witness and observe the incredible impact that our lives have on the lives of others? Could you explain a little bit more? How do we live our passion and empower others?
Well, I think once we start to step into our own power and we really get a deep sense of just, how freeing that is, it's something that we then feel inspired to share with other people. I get a lot of messages from people that read my writing and they contact me and say, I feel stuck. And that's something that comes up time and time again. People feel stuck. I think when I get those kind of messages, because I know I can resonate with that because I've experienced it, and I feel very inspired to just encourage people to follow their own, passions and inspirations in order that they can free themselves of any limiting beliefs as well. So I think it's almost like a domino effect. Once you start stepping into your own power and really living a life that, is free from all the restrictions that society tries to put onto us, then you automatically want to help the next person. You want to share that. And so it becomes a community, and then, hopefully that community inspires another community, and then it becomes like a global awakening, I suppose, where people just recognize, actually, I don't have to live like this. I don't have to spend every day struggling. There is another way. And so I think the more that I've released my own limiting beliefs, the more encouraged and inspired I am to help other people.
Well, let me jump in here, because I think one of the factors behind many individuals being very resistant in moving into their passion, or following their hearts or listening to their inner call is economy. I think, it feels safe when you clock in 9 to 5, or it feels safe to stay in a marriage where your husband is supporting the family. It feels safe to do that, right? When you start to answer the call, all of that scaffold then falls away, and you have to turn inwards to find if you yourself as a company within your being, do you have what it takes to make things work for you? How has it been as you have moved into this other dimension? Because I think one of the factors that a lot of folks don't take that plunge is the fear of financially making ends meet. Have you ever encountered that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a fear, and it's a valid fear, and it was something that I used to kind of, have as a stumbling block myself, because before I embarked on my own journey, I would read stories or hear talks from other people, and I'd be thinking, okay, but how are you paying your bills? You know, you're living your life's purpose, you're following your passion, but how are you actually, in practical terms, making this happen? And for me, it's been a case of feeling the fear and literally doing it anyway. And I don't want to gloss over kind of what a big step that is, because it is a big step. But I think I just got to the point where I really recognized, okay, I have this kind of material security, but it's literally bringing me no joy, no satisfaction, and I don't feel that, you know, my life is successful because of it. So I kind of almost got to a point where I felt like there just wasn't any alternative, because I simply couldn't go on existing when I just really wanted to live. I wanted to live with integrity and passion. I wanted to live out loud. So I essentially found a way of weaving my passion into my life in small doses to begin with. So I did keep my 9-to-5 job for some time whilst I began writing, and the more that I followed my dream of becoming a writer, the easier it became, essentially. And I have had to make lifestyle changes. You know, I don't go out and dine at expensive restaurants, and every now and again I have a moment where I think, okay, you know, it would be nice to splurge on XYZ, but the truth is that the satisfaction I get from living my empowered, authentic life is, you cannot put a price on it, and that's what I've come to appreciate and value.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, a lot of women in today's times, I think they're finding a lot of hope and inspiration by observing certain women moving up the ladder, whether it's corporate, political, religious, what have you. But yet there's still an overwhelming amount of women in the world that are living small. And let me please clarify what I mean to all of my listeners and to you. Living small for me doesn't mean that, you know, you're in the kitchen and making babies and making sure the house is okay. Small to me is when you stop feeling the power of your love flowing through you in everything that you do, and you're in this rat race or this game of trying to make ends meet or trying to get over someone, or feeling that you definitely need a man to complete you, or you feel like you're not really adding up to the way the world wants to see you. That's, for me, playing it small. So many people, especially women, often seem to struggle with feeling that they're not enough. What would you advise these women to get out of this paradigm of thinking?
Well, that's essentially why I created Fierce Females, because I wanted women to have mantras that they could identify with and that inspired them to believe in themselves. I think in many societies it is deeply ingrained that, you know, women are the nurturers, and we spend a lot of time taking care of everybody else. And it doesn't necessarily, as you pointed out, mean that, you know, it's necessarily women with children, but we tend to want to, you know, care for the people in our lives, in our communities, and sometimes we do that at the expense of, you know, our own happiness, I guess. And I think when women start to explore their own needs and their own desires and want to claim their own happiness, alongside that, there tends to come some guilt. And this is quite a key difference between, I think, the sexes, is that men tend to, you know, ask for what they want and go for it, whereas women tend to attach some guilt, or, you know, who am I to ask for this? Like, who am I to want to shine my light? And again, that's why I really felt strongly about Fierce Females, because I want to say to women, yes, you can go for this. You have every right to go for this. You are allowed to shine. You are allowed to ask for abundance and, you know, just live your life out loud and enjoy it and feel exhilarated by it. So that's a very strong message that I want to send out to women, is that not only is it okay to do this, but it's absolutely crucial and vital that, you know, that you embrace every element of who you are. So I'm kind of excited about that as a global message to women, so that, you know, I love getting messages from people that have said that these mantras have made a difference to their lives, because that's exactly what I want to happen. And then I want them to take the mantras and, pass them on to the next female. So it really is a sisterhood that we can encourage and uplift each other and feel supported.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, I love the honesty in your writings, Skylar. That's one of the things that brought me to saying to Antonia, please see if we could get you on the air. You had a recent article in Positively Positive, and you wrote that while responding to emails and comments on Facebook, 2 people had reminded you about how fierce you are or were, not knowing that you were actually having a mini meltdown,
Right.
And I just think that's so real. So you said that you often feel just as vulnerable as you do fierce, and that your vulnerability and your fierceness are friends.
Yes.
Elevate me, please.
Yeah. Right. I feel strongly about this image that we tend to have of other people that, we perhaps use as role models or people that are in the public eye, and we tend to put them on a pedestal, and, perhaps somebody reads an article and they come away with an image of that person being very together, very in control of their life, or they see a promo video of somebody sitting there with flawless makeup and, again, feeling very together. And I think that all too often we look at these people and then we make comparisons, and then we feel as though somehow we're falling short because that person has got, a great, fantastic, glossy life and we don't, and so somehow we're failing. And so because I've definitely been in that position where I've drawn comparison between myself and other people, I really wanted to make sure that through my writing, through my work and my message, that I really do keep it real, so that other people can look at me and say, oh, she has flaws, she's vulnerable, and she's still getting out there and she's still doing her stuff. So I really do embrace my vulnerability, because I used to try and hide it. I used to try and gloss over it because, that's what you do, right? Don't show anybody that you're flawed or that you have fears. But the more I had the courage to be vulnerable, the more other people would come forward and just say, yeah, I'm the same. And so instead of feeling that our vulnerabilities are something we need to be afraid of or to try and hide, when we actually just say, yeah, here they are, this is what, this is what I'm scared of today, this is what's making me struggle today, then there's a really important shift that happens, and that shift is kind of reclaiming our own power and embracing all of who we are, rather than just the nice glossy bits. Say, this is all of who I am, and I love and accept myself. And then the real empowerment shift starts to happen, and it's a wonderful, magical thing. So I do embrace my vulnerabilities. I don't hide them.
I know that, Brené Brown talks a lot about vulnerability, and it has definitely struck a chord with many, many individuals of this time, because we're so accustomed to trying to wear that mask and show what we think people need to like us, yes, or to get our way in a door, and who ends up is losing, because even if you succeed economically, you're just miserable inside. And the real success is someone who has reached a place of complete self-acceptance, and they're very open with the fact that soul is an energy and it will continue to keep changing. So, really keep opening that. And I appreciate the fact that honesty is an incredible precursor to helping us on our journey, because it's nobody's business. It's between me, my conscience, and God. And if that's getting fit, then my relationships on the outside will follow suit. Don't you believe?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, wholeheartedly. I think it's so important to be able to just accept all of who we are, and like I say, that absolutely includes our vulnerabilities.
Exactly. All right. So, any plans to come to the nation's capital? Because if so, I would definitely want you to come by and talk about how to get over vulnerability. And
yeah,
and before I let you go, please leave with us your favorite life quote that you're living by currently, and a website that our listeners can get in touch with you if they would like to talk to you more.
Of course. Well, one of the favorite quotes that I often use is, rather than ask why is this happening to me, ask instead what is this doing for me. And I really like just a simple switch of a couple of words there. So rather than ask, why is this happening to me, what is this doing for me? And it really changes our perspective on any challenging experiences that we're having, because it takes away the victim element. So it's not something that's happening to us, it's an experience that is potentially doing something for us. So I use that one a lot.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I really like it, and it's one that I get a lot of feedback on with people that read my work, because it's, like I say, a simple shift, but it can make all the difference. And I have that and some of my other quotes and all my blog posts over at my website, which is SkylarLibertyRose.com, and there's also links on my site to all of my social media pages as well.
Skylar, thank you so much for joining us on the air today, and we want to continue to wish you just the very best of your unfolding and consistent service to our world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Sister Jenna. I really appreciate it.
All the very best. Stay warm for the wintertime.
I will, absolutely, and you. Thank you.
All right, take good care. All the best.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. So it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to actually just decide to move into your place of power, but also realize that there will also be other opportunities there waiting for you to help you to grow even further. So it's not just a getting away from what you don't like, but it might be actually facing everything that was getting in your way. Food for thought. Thank you for listening to the American Meditating Radio. We really care for you tremendously. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission. And we are here to love each other the same. So let us amplify more love, my brothers and sisters. I'm going to end today's show with you from the Bliss CD.